The winter battlefields of World War II didn't just kill with bullets, they froze men alive. Temperatures plunged to -30 degrees, snow buried entire forests, and rations turned into ice blocks harder than steel. Soldiers weren't only fighting the enemy, they were fighting nature itself. And the deadliest mistake a man could make wasn't shouting or firing his weapon, it was lighting a fire. One flicker of smoke could give away his position to snipers, aircraft, or artillery. Yet every soldier still needed warmth, water, and food. So how did they survive? How did they eat a hot meal in the dead of winter without a single wisp of smoke? In World War II, open flames were suicide. The glow of a campfire could be seen for miles, especially through the snow-covered forests and plains of Europe. On the Eastern Front, where Germany clashed with the Soviet Union, men froze to death before they starved. Wood was buried under snow, soaked or banned from use altogether because it drew enemy fire. In the 1930s, a German inventor named Erich Schum created something revolutionary, a solid fuel tablet that burned without smoke, smell, or residue. His company, Esbit, short for Erich Schum's fuel in tablet form, developed a chemical compound called hexamine, formed by combining formaldehyde and ammonia. When ignited, hexamine burned at about 700 degrees Celsius, releasing a nearly invisible blue flame. It didn't need much oxygen, which meant it could burn even in thin mountain air or inside enclosed shelters. Best of all, it didn't smoke. That meant a soldier could heat his meal right under the enemy's nose, unseen, unheard, and alive. To match these tablets, Esbit designed a small folding metal stove, about the size of a cigarette case. It unfolded into a simple triangle that could hold a tin cup or mess kit over a burning tablet. The entire kit, stove plus 6 fuel tablets, fit in a pocket. It was so light, reliable, and foolproof that the German army adopted it across multiple divisions, from infantry to mountain troops. The beauty of the Esbit stove wasn't in fancy engineering, it was in brutal simplicity. No moving parts, no pumps, no maintenance, just open, light, and heat. One small tablet burned for about 15 minutes, long enough to boil half a liter of water or heat a full meal. 2 tablets could turn a frozen ration into something edible, and because the fuel was hydrophobic, even if it fell into snow or ice, it could still ignite instantly. That meant soldiers could rely on it no matter the conditions. In a world where every gram of weight mattered and every minute of exposure could mean death, this small tin stove became as valuable as a rifle. It wasn't glamorous, it didn't roar like an engine or explode like artillery. But in the quiet, frozen nights of World War II, that tiny blue flame meant life. Picture the front lines of the Eastern Front, 1943. The snow stretches for miles, and soldiers crouch in frozen trenches. There's no wood, no warmth, just silence and the constant threat of discovery. A soldier pulls a small tin box from his coat, unfolds it, and lights a single tablet. A faint blue glow flickers, barely visible even a few feet away. He places a tin cup filled with snow on top. Within minutes, it melts, boils, and steams. He stirs in powdered coffee and a spoonful of condensed milk. No smoke, no smell, no sound, just a quiet cup of heat in a frozen world. That simple ritual, a hot drink, a warm meal, kept morale alive. It gave men the strength to fight another day. This wasn't just about cooking, it was about human endurance, finding warmth and comfort in the middle of chaos, surviving with ingenuity instead of luck. The Esbit stove didn't remain a German secret for long. Allied troops discovered them after capturing enemy positions, looting supplies, or trading with prisoners. What they found amazed them. British, Canadian, and American soldiers realized that nothing in their own kits matched the Esbit's efficiency. Soon, elite units like the British SAS and American Mountain Division started carrying similar pocket stoves, some repurposed directly from captured German gear. In the frozen forests of the Ardennes or the icy mountains of Norway, these tiny devices quietly sustained entire patrols. No resupply needed, no heavy fuel drums, no telltale smoke trails, just heat, pure, simple, and silent. For men operating behind enemy lines, that meant survival. A single small stove could feed a unit, boil water for wounds, or provide heat inside a snow shelter. It was the ultimate stealth tool. You know, WWII soldiers were absolute masters of improvisation. They learned to use the Esbit stove in all sorts of creative ways. Some would dig small pits in the snow to block the wind, while others actually used their helmets as makeshift windshields. A few even built little heat reflectors out of tin scraps to direct more warmth toward their cups. In deep snow they'd carve a tiny pit, place the stove inside, and cover it loosely to make basically a miniature oven. These small hacks doubled fuel efficiency and saved precious tablets, because even though those tablets were small, they were honestly priceless out in the field. And when used inside tents or snow shelters, the Esbit's smokeless flame allowed soldiers to stay concealed while still eating hot meals, something an open fire just couldn't do. After WWII ended, the Esbit stove kind of faded from military headlines. Tanks, jets, and atomic weapons took center stage. But, the stove didn't just vanish. Campers, survivalists, and mountaineers kept using it. And here's the wild part. The exact same design still exists today. Nearly 90 years later, modern campers can actually buy the same folding stove under the Esbit and Coughlin's brands. Militaries still pack them in lifeboats and emergency survival kits, because when gas canisters leak, batteries fail, or technology just breaks down, a metal stand and a solid fuel tablet still work, every single time. In disaster zones, expeditions, or power outages, that same little invention continues to save lives. It's proof that the best designs aren't flashy, they're reliable. The story of the Esbit stove is really about more than just cooking. It's about ingenuity born from desperation. It reminds us that survival isn't always about power or size. It's about being clever, adaptable, and resourceful. In the frozen trenches of WWII, victory wasn't just measured in battles won, but in meals eaten, water boiled, and lives kept warm. A few grams of metal and a handful of fuel tablets turned men from victims of the cold into survivors of history's harshest war. The Esbit stove might be small, but honestly, its impact was enormous. It gave soldiers warmth without risk, food without fire, and hope without light. And in the end, that's the real mark of genius, when something so simple changes everything. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the untold survival stories of WWII, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone who loves forgotten wartime innovation. Because here at the Forgotten Warfronts, we believe history's smallest tools often reveal its biggest lessons.